I think that the nuclear rhetoric that we're hearing from the Kremlin is just that, rhetoric. At the same time, nuclear weapons is serious, and you shouldn't use them in this way, I think. We have nuclear capabilities as NATO. We take that very seriously. That's why we discuss it, review it, talk about it, check if everything in place. But we never would use it in that type of rhetoric that we're hearing from Russia.
Estonian Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur warned that the alliance members needed to invest more in defense.
Good morning, everyone. Russia will not change. Russia's threat is increasing, and when we look also at how much Russia is investing at the moment to defense, this year close to 9% of the GDP, then we all understand that when we put in comparison our 2% in NATO or 3.5% in Baltic states and Poland, then still we need to invest more.
On Tuesday, June 11th, Russia said its troops had started the second stage of drills to practice the deployment of tactical nuclear weapons alongside Belarusian troops after what Moscow said were threats from Western powers. NATO defense ministers posed on Friday, June 14th, for an official photo on the sidelines of the two-day talks that centered on the military support package for Ukraine and next month's NATO summit planned to take place in Washington, D.C. NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg has proposed NATO to take on coordination of international military aid for Ukraine, giving the alliance a more direct role in the war against Russia's invasion, while stopping well short of committing its own forces.
We have agreed and a plan that sets out how NATO will lead the coordination of security assistance and training. This will allow NATO leaders to launch this effort at the Washington summit in July, putting our support to Ukraine on a firmer footing for years to come. It will consist of a NATO command located at a US facility in Wiesbaden and at logistical nodes in the eastern part of the alliance, under a 3-star general reporting to Supreme Allied Commander Europe, SACEUR.
The move is widely seen as an effort to provide a degree of Trump-proofing by putting coordination under a NATO umbrella, giving alliance military staff more autonomy to get on with the job, with less direct political involvement. After Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the United States gathered like-minded nations at a Ramstein air base in Germany, establishing a group of now some 50 nations that meet regularly to match Kiev's arms requests with pledges of donors. This so-called Ramstein group will continue to exist as a U.S.-led political forum, but NATO will take over the military working level below that coordinates arms deliveries and training for Ukrainian troops. Russian President Vladimir Putin said earlier on Friday that Russia would end the war in Ukraine only if Kiev agreed to drop its ambitions for NATO membership, hand over the entirety of 4 provinces claimed by Moscow, and carry out a demilitarization.
You know, Putin has illegally occupied sovereign Ukrainian territory. He is not in any position to dictate to Ukraine what they must do to bring about a peace. I think, that's exactly the kind of behavior that we don't want to see. We don't want to see a leader of one country wake up one day and decide that he wants to erase borders and annex the territory of his neighbor. That's not the world that any of us want to live in, and so I think he is not in my view, not in a position to dictate to Ukraine what it must do to pursue peace.
Russia controls nearly a fifth of Ukrainian territory in the 3rd year of the war. Ukraine says peace can only be based on the full withdrawal of Russian forces and the restoration of its territorial integrity.